The United States has imposed 50% tariff on some Canadian goods after Washington and Ottawa failed to reach a new trade agreement. The move marks a fresh escalation between US President Donald Trump and Canadian President Prime Minister Mark Carney, with both sides accusing the other of derailing several days of negotiations. Now, the new tariff took effect shortly after midnight, targeting about 20 billion US dollars worth of Canadian goods. That includes products such as wooden hockey sticks and other Canadian exports. While the affected goods represent just over 5% of Canada's exports to the United States, the tariffs are likely to add pressure to an already strained trading relationship. Canada is the United States' second largest trading partner after Mexico. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says Ottawa has suspended trade negotiations with Washington. Carney has also vowed that Canada will retaliate against the new tariffs dollar for dollar. The Canadian Prime Minister has and was elected on a platform that promised to stand up to President Trump, and he remains broadly popular in Canada. Polls show most Canadians oppose making concessions to the US president. The latest escalation comes after 3 days of talks in Washington between Canada's ministers responsible for trade, Dominic LeBlanc, with the US Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. Now, just hours before the new tariff took effect, the two sides appeared close to a possible agreement. Sources say the proposed deal could have reduced tariff on Canadian steel, aluminium, as well as automobile, while potentially allowing American alcohol products to return to Canadian liquor stores. But a senior Trump administration official has said that Canada sought additional concessions, particularly on steel, aluminium, automobile, and softwood lumber. Now, the official said the US proposal would have given Canada the most favorable tariff position of any major exporter of the United States. No additional talks are currently scheduled as the new duties take effect. US President Donald Trump had already threatened last month to impose tariffs on a broader range of Canadian imports. These products include wine, furniture, dairy products, cement, clothing, fishing rods, as well as hockey equipment. Now, the latest tariff also adds to existing US duties on Canadian steel, lumber, automobile industry that have already faced a significant pressure over the past 18 months. The new tariffs are expected to make negotiations over the future of the United States, Mexico, and Canada Free Trade Agreement even more difficult as Washington and Ottawa confront their most serious trade tension in recent years. Moving on, US President Donald Trump has said that Iran is not yet ready to make what he described as a right deal as tensions between the Washington and Tehran continue to escalate. Speaking at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland on Friday, Trump said the United States was closely watching developments and that the current situation did not indicate any limitations on Washington's military operations in the region. Responding to a question about whether U.S. military options were limited, Trump rejected the suggestion, saying Washington was simply waiting to see how the situation develops. Now, Trump has also sought to portray Iran as being under severe economic and military pressure. He claimed that Iran has limited financial resources, no effective navy or air force, and is struggling to pay its soldiers and the police personnel. He also pointed to what he described as extremely high inflation in the country. Trump further claimed that the United States has total control of the region around the Strait of Hormuz, including the surrounding land area. Now, the strategically vital waterway is a key route for global oil shipments, making any escalation there a major concern for international energy markets. According to Trump, Iran would like to reach a deal with Washington, but Tehran is not prepared to accept the terms that the US considers necessary. Meanwhile, Iran has issued a strong warning in response to the latest US pressure. Tehran said on Friday that any new American threat would trigger a devastating response. The warning came after Washington pledged to impose what it described as the toughest financial penalty in history, with the stated objective of putting maximum pressure on Iran and challenging its leadership. The latest exchange highlights the widening gap between the Washington and Tehran, with the United States maintaining pressure through economic and strategic measures, while Iran is warning that further escalation could have serious consequences. For now, Trump says Washington will wait and watch how the situation unfolds, while insisting that military options remain available if required.
Navy, they have no Air Force.
Iran is shifting economic warfare towards Iran. Does that indicate that the military options in the region for the U.S. are limited?
No, not at all. It just means that we're seeing what happens. They have no money. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. They are not paying their soldiers. They're not paying their police. They have 350% inflation. So we're just going to sort of see what happens. And we have total control, as you know, of the border. We have total control. If you look at the blockade, we have total control of that entire region having to do with the Strait of Hormuz. And that means well into it, the land areas. So they would love to make a deal, but they're not ready to make the right deal, in my opinion. Yeah.